president was taking voter questions tonight at a town hall in Miami. Joe Biden took questions from uncommitted voters at a town hall in Philadelphia, right here at ABC. A Powerhouse roundtable here to weigh in. Matt, let's begin with you. Two very different tones tonight from both candidates. President Trump aggressively tackling the issues on NBC in a contentious town hall, and Joe Biden with a calmer, more measured performance on ABC. Matt, whose approach worked, do you think?
Joe Biden's by far. I mean, I think when we're in the midst of such chaos in the country and everything that's going on, from the pandemic to the economy, racial injustice, of climate change, all of that, I think voters want and desire somebody more calm, considered, clear. And I think by any standard, Joe Biden's town hall and performance at his town hall was far more on the side of calm and clear than on the side of chaos and more division and more argument. So on that standard, which is where I think the country is today, and which is why I think Joe Biden has the lead he does, Biden won that standoff.
The president has lost support among senior citizens, a key group for him in 2016. He was in Florida tonight, and the state is a true battleground this year. Ram, how does he win back senior citizens, and why has Biden's approach to the virus resonated?
Well, a couple things I would say that I'm not sure the president can do that. He's tried a number of things, trying to do law and order to cultural war, and in fact, telling seniors that they were basically dispensable. When you look at everything he's done on COVID, that is the message he has sent them. And Joe Biden is a reassuring voice for them. He will be the first Democrat since Al Gore in 2000 to win senior votes. And here's the thing. Trump made a huge mistake tonight, letting Joe Biden have his own moment. Big tactical mistake. You know, in campaigns, number one rule, you got to do everything you got to do, and you got to hope your opponent does everything they did. Joe Biden got a real gift from Donald Trump today. And two, as I said earlier, chaos and confusion is on one side. Calm and compassion and clarity is on the other side. And that contrast, because at the end of the day, what the voters are looking for is somebody who will bring the country together. Joe Biden is scratching their emotional itch right now.
President Trump was evasive on the coronavirus, saying he didn't know when he took his last test before getting sick, saying he did not remember being briefed by his national security advisor on the severity of the disease, and still calling into question the effectiveness of face masks. So, Sarah, how is his approach to the virus playing across the country?
Well, I think on tone, he doesn't get great marks, candidly. And part of it is because he's inconsistent. That's a simple question. Did you get the test on the day of the debate or not? He could have answered that. Now, I will say on the substance of actually fighting the virus, on therapeutics, on record-breaking vaccine research, on making sure that the country has enough PPE and ventilators and all the things that we need to do to help people recover from this disease when they get it, his administration has done pretty well. He would be better to talk about those things and have one very kind of clear, simple, consistent statement about how Americans should protect themselves when out in public.
Joe Biden was pressed tonight on his tax plan that will raise corporate taxes and taxes on the wealthy, but critics say this could hurt the economy more than help. Yvette, will this plan help or hurt Biden?
I think Biden was pretty clear today. I was actually glad when he reached into his jacket and pulled out the notes to make sure that he had the right numbers, even saying that Wall Street agrees that his plan will add more jobs. I agree that we actually improve the economy by helping those in the middle so that they have the resources to be able to push our economy up rather than trickle down. And so I think he did a really great job, which he wasn't able to do in the debate because he kept getting interrupted, at talking about, one, how much money he's going to unlock by making sure the wealthiest Americans and corporations pay their fair share, but also putting more money back into middle Americans and lower wealth Americans so that they have the money they need to invest in the economy and build themselves back up. So I think actually his plan is great, and I think he did a great job of articulating that today, using real numbers. He got real clear answers out, and I think he did a wonderful job.
Donald Trump declined to condemn the conspiracy movement QAnon tonight, saying he didn't know much about it. Sarah, why is he still not disavowing this widely discredited idea?
Yeah, I didn't get to see that, but this has come up before, and to me, I don't understand this one. There's really, this is a softball, frankly, in politics, which is there's no place for these nutty, crazy ideas in American politics. You know, he overthinks these questions sometimes, Byron. You know, he's thinking about some individual who's on the internet and reading this stuff, and they're probably a good person, but they've for whatever reason, ascribed to this philosophy. This isn't complicated. It's crazy. Just say it.
It's funny you make the point that he was overthinking. That is an argument I think you often hear made in President Trump's favor, him overthinking something. But Sarah, to that point, he's had similar issues in disavowing other groups, right? White supremacist groups, and he comes back later and cleans it up. Why, on what seems like to most reasonable people, easy things to knock down, why does he continue to struggle?
You know, I think that he turns this into a battle with the press. This turns into, why would you ask me this question? What people who are close to the president will say is he's offended by these questions. Like, of course I'm against white supremacy. Who is not against white supremacy? And so, again, whether you want to use the word overthink or, just too confrontational, he takes the wrong lesson from the back and forth that he has on these exchanges with journalists. He should just shut it down and move on to something substantive where I think he has a better record than Joe Biden on most issues.
Sure. President Trump is in trouble with female voters and clearly trying to appeal to them now. He begged them to like him this week, and tonight dodged the question when asked if he would like to see Roe v. Wade overturned. 4 years ago, he said he wanted it to be overturned. Matt, is this an effective appeal to women?
Donald Trump's appeal to women on this? No, it's not. I think most every American knows that Donald Trump wants to get rid of Roe versus Wade, which is an incredibly unpopular position among the general public. I think what the problem women have goes to something that Ram said and something I said earlier. It's the way he conducts himself. It's how he acts. And I think they've seen this behavior in other people in their lives, especially by men who they feel are bullied and push and don't give them a word. And so it's not about a particular issue stance that Donald Trump will ever be able to change a woman's mind that is opposed to him. It's his way he acts and the way he talks. And that, for Donald Trump at this point in his life, is exceedingly difficult to change.
Now, listening to all of you, the tone of our conversation tonight is that for President Trump at this point, it's all uphill and he was on roller skates. So, Ram, I start with you. Make the case in what he can do, will do, could do between now and Election Day to pull this out.
Hold on, I got to get the image of him going uphill in roller skates out of my head to answer that question. And I do want to say it's not the issue of Roe v. Wade about women. His problem is when you call another candidate, a woman, a monster, and you start ridiculing the governor of Michigan, also a woman whose life was just threatened, and you're 30 points down about women, that is not going to help you narrow that gap. Look, Donald Trump, after 3.5 years of being the president, there's a simple question when you run for re-election. Do you want to play him? Or do you want to trade him? And you look at everything we're going, and already 18 million, 19 million voters have already cast ballots. It's pretty clear where the country is. They want to trade him. So when you say, can he do something different? At this point, I could have said that in the last 6 months, yes. Right now, he needs Biden to do something for him to change it. Donald Trump, the die is cast, the architecture is there, the mold is there, and it's being filled up. So I don't think he can do anything actually to change it. He has to hope Biden does something that would change it in his favor. And I don't see that happening, especially after tonight, where I think Joe Biden did an exceptional job advancing his campaign.
That same question to you. What do you think, what makes you nervous that President Trump might be able to do between now and Election Day to pull this out?
You know, I agree with Ram in that I don't know that Donald Trump is fundamentally going to change who he is, which I think is what's required for him to get out of this hole. He gets opportunities either in debates where he's combative or on stages by himself where he says things that he can't take back, which are ridiculous. I think his key, and I think this is what he's pushing, is voter suppression. And that's the thing that we're fighting against. He fully intends to steal this election. You know, we've got battles across states, litigation that are happening to make sure votes are counted. They're trying to take away people's vote. And so I think Trump is, in his last-ditch effort, he's getting out in Miami. He's dancing around with no mask on. He's trying to get his folks hyped up. But I think he knows at the end of the day, the only way he wins this is if he steals it, which is why I think this Amy Coney Barrett nomination is one way that he expects to do that. And, of course, all of the things that the secretaries of state who are Republican who support him are doing as well. I don't think he has a chance, if this is a full and fair election, to win at this point.
Sarah, he's your party standard bearer. He's got less than 3 weeks to do it. What does he need to do?
Well, I think his best path to closing the race, I think, is to really focus on the number of eligible non-college educated white voters, of which he's done well with, particularly men. There are many of them, over 1 million of them in Michigan, who did not vote in the 2016 election. Equal numbers in Pennsylvania, more in Pennsylvania, and almost 1 million in Wisconsin. He's going to have to have registered those folks by the deadline and turn them out. That would be probably his best chance at closing the gap at this point.
Matt, I'll give you the last word. Donald Trump, shirts on fire, backs against the wall, bill collectors at the door. What's he do?
Well, the problem, Byron, is that 2 weeks ago, before the last debate, if this is a marathon and presidential races are marathons, he was 7 miles behind 2 weeks ago before that debate. Now he's 10 miles behind. So he's losing. He's not only not gaining ground, he's losing ground in this race. And so at this point, the only thing he can do is hope for a mistake, which is, I think, one of the fundamental things that by Biden, that hope for a fundamental mistake in this race that puts Biden down and knocks Biden down a few points. And he has to change the fundamental nature of the electorate, different than what we think it is today. Fundamentally change that electorate. And I would say it's not, he doesn't have 19 days. The election ends in 19 days. Because 18 million people have already voted, and by next week, 25 million people have already voted. So he has less time than you think, because this election is going to be basically decided by the Friday before the last day of voting, because 2/3 of people will have voted by that Friday.
Thank you all.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.